Opening its first office in the U.S. right here in the Gem State. Local News 8 at 5 starts now.
You're watching Local News 8 at 5. Local people, local news.
Good morning, everyone. The world is wondering what comes next after President Trump ordered airstrikes against Syria last night.
It comes just days after the Bashar al-Assad regime there allegedly used chemical weapons on its own people. ABC's Lana Zak joins us live this morning with more on what we're learning about those airstrikes. Good morning, Lana.
Good morning. This story continues to develop, and here's the very latest. Syria says at least 6 people were killed in the U.S. strike. Russia is calling for an emergency meeting of the UN Security Council, and they've announced a suspension of all further military cooperation with the United States.
From 2 American destroyers in the Mediterranean, the U.S. launched 59 Tomahawk cruise missiles at Syria.
Tonight I ordered a targeted military strike on the airfield in Syria from where the chemical attack was launched.
The president at his Mar-a-Lago resort urged the international community to denounce Syrian President Bashar al-Assad for his suspected use of sarin gas against his own people.
Even beautiful babies were cruelly murdered in this very barbaric attack. No child of God should ever suffer such horror.
More than 80 were killed, mostly women and children, in brutal, horrific deaths. But Russia is decrying U.S.'s action. A spokesman for Russian President Vladimir Putin said he regards the strikes as aggression against a sovereign nation in violation of international law. U.S. lawmakers are responding as well. Many are praising the president's actions, but others say Congress should have been consulted. Republican Senator Rand Paul tweeted, "While we all condemn the atrocities in Syria, the United States was not attacked." And Democratic Senator Tim Kaine called the president's failure to consult Congress unlawful. For the new president, it's a reversal of his previous positions, but it's also a message to the international community.
The larger statement, again, is that Assad needs to stop the chemical attacks against his people.
And the big question now becomes what happens next. This was largely seen as a surgical strike, effective perhaps in a shot across the bow, but not destabilizing to the Assad regime. If the president wanted to sustain further military action, he'd likely need congressional approval and would also need to be cooperating or at least coordinating with some of those other UN member states, in particular Russia and China. Reporting live from Washington, Lana Zak, ABC News. Back to you.
Well, waking up on your Friday morning rather quiet and also very mild. Our first alert, Skycam here in Idaho Falls, showing temperatures at the airports were in the mid-40s, upper 50s. So quite the difference here this morning than just a couple mornings ago. And how warm was it yesterday? We hit 72 in some locations. So hopefully you got a chance to enjoy it because things are going to be changing very quickly. We'll start off rather warm. In fact, temperatures likely to climb into the 60s here before lunch, and then they're going to tumble. Take a look at all the activity off to our west. Our first alert Viper radar checking heavy showers, even some thunderstorms up towards northern Idaho, eastern Washington. Some showers here in the Magic Valley, and all this activity into California. That's going to be riding in and bringing us quite a bit of wet weather. In fact, some storms and even snow will begin to fall by this evening and overnight and into your weekend. So here's what we have going on as far as the winter weather goes. We have winter weather advisories here for the Caribou Highlands. I know it's been a while, but we can expect 1 to 3 inches of snow here going into tonight and throughout the day on Saturday. For the Tetons, winter storm watches, and again, once you get around pass level, 4 to 8 inches of snow. So this will impact your travels here. If you are headed up into the high country, we're going to have much more on the stormy weather, the timing, and what you need to know if you have outdoor activities or even evening plans tonight and through the weekend. Much more to come here throughout the forecast this morning. But first, we'll send things over to Allison and Dan.
All right, thanks so much, Chris. And all the snow and rain and ice left our roads in pretty rough shape, especially well-traveled sections of I-15.
Local News 8's Misty England tells us what you need to know as ITD begins repairs on our roadways.
The Federal Highway Administration reported that in 2014, distracted driving caused 16% of fatal crashes in work zones. Another 29% was caused by speeding. So with construction season starting,
we're trying to get a message out now to alert drivers that we're having a lot of construction this year and that work zone safety is important.
Harrelson says people don't pay attention to road signs or to speed limits that have changed because of construction. He says people are often distracted on their phones and...
Well, sometimes we'll have congestion because people looking at the activities and you got to watch the traffic ahead of you so you don't rear end traffic ahead of you.
Starting April 17th, 9 I-15 projects will begin. From McCammon to the Montana border, more than $50 million in work will be done this year. Even though it can be a headache for drivers,
the economic investment is worth it.
ITD says the work will be ongoing from April through October. They want to remind you to slow down, pay attention to road signs, and allow yourself some extra time to travel. And it's not just the interstate that will have some work done. Starting on Monday, crews will start construction at 17th Street and Hitt Road intersection in Idaho Falls. Work will include adding lanes to the intersection, installation of water, storm, and sewer systems, sidewalk, traffic lights, and new lighting. At least one lane of traffic should be open in each direction while the work is being done, and access to all businesses should be available. The work is expected to take 3 months to finish.
And construction is also underway in Rexburg. You might have noticed a construction project on what seems like every corner. City crews are also working on roads and more housing to help with the growing population. Rexburg's mayor says more single-student housing will also be available. You might be able to save a little bit of money on your next electric bill. Rocky Mountain Power is proposing a 2.4% decrease in rates for next year. This is part of its annual energy cost adjustment. A typical residential customer using 800 kilowatt hours a month should see a decrease of about $20 for the year. Rocky Mountain Power asked the Idaho Public Utilities Commission to approve the plan. The commission is expected to take public comment on the proposal.
A Japan-based company is opening its first ever U.S. office in Idaho Falls. Sakai Casting specializes in aluminum casting to help with semiconductors and supercomputers. READY, or the Regional Economic Development of Eastern Idaho, started working with the company about a year ago. The company believes this area is a good fit because of the university's satellite campuses and the INL. READY is very excited they chose to establish in Eastern Idaho.
This is the beginning. I mean, this isn't going to be a huge money maker to start, but the possibilities of building on this their investment and continuing to move their business forward and others coming and joining, that's where we're going to get the opportunity.
A staff of about 4 people will be working in the downtown Idaho Falls office. It is 5:08. Let's go ahead and check in with meteorologist Chris Bruin this morning. And Chris, what a day we had yesterday, living in the past here.
Yeah, and it's starting out really, really nice this morning. It's gorgeous out.
Oh, yeah.
It really is. Time for sunbathing weather, maybe.
Moonbathing right now.
Temperatures, yeah, temperatures, they're comfortable. The sun's not necessarily going to be out today, but we're already at 60 degrees this morning. An average low, yeah, we should be in the mid-30s. So well above average to get your day started. Again, we're coming off that very warm spell we had yesterday where a lot of us were well into the 60s and 70s. Well, things are about to change. We've got quite a big system on the way, and it's going to be bringing in much cooler temperatures by this afternoon and tonight. Jackson, we were in the 60s yesterday, so very mild, up around 48 this morning here on the town square. Cloudy skies, but we're dry. All is quiet except for the winds. You'll probably hear those continuing to howl through your morning. Now, First Alert Viper radar tracking a mess to our north. We are bringing in some showers here near craters of the moon and into the northern end of the Magic Valley. These are going to start to spread eastward, but it's the moisture behind that, especially here in California and Nevada, that's really going to be bringing us quite a wallop here of wet weather going into your weekend. So here's what you need to know. We're going to start off very warm and windy, at least through about lunchtime. Then it's going to get very cold very quick as those showers and even thunderstorms roll through. So after lunch, that's when things really going to get darken up. We could see a few sprinkles to start, but most of us staying dry until the afternoon.